Hi, it's Alex Counts again. This will be part 2 of my series on nonprofit management and leadership, dealing with what I call the 3 A's, being affirming of people, being accessible, and being approachable. And while these are good qualities in any leader, in any type of organization, I think they're especially important in nonprofits where people often give up a level of financial security they might get in other types of organizations, social status in some circles, job security, and they give those things up because they want to be with the cause, and that can sustain them for a while, but there are also times where the cause doesn't seem to be moving forward, and so you can get discouraged, and these things can really help get people through that, stick with the change maker agenda, the nonprofit employee agenda. Now, last time in my video I talked about why some leaders don't do these things, and what the cost is, and I said that I didn't practice these 3 early in my career, and I learned to over time. So let's get into what can you do? What should you do? What do I do? First of all, I just affirm people as often as I can in big ways and small ways. They make a good comment in a meeting, I'll take them aside afterwards or send them an email. Or they have a big success with their project, I'll take them out to a celebratory lunch. And just really laud them, make it feel special. And what is meaningful in terms of affirmation of people varies a lot. So I study people that work for me. What's going to mean the most to them? Is it a handwritten letter? Is it hearing from the board chair that I told about their success? It doesn't need to be perfect. That was one of the things I learned. If you're going to affirm people and you're waiting for the perfect wording and to say it in just the right way, then you're probably not going to do it much because you're going to be worried that it's not perfect. But just do it, and you'll get, the more you do it, the better you get at it, and better you get at making people feel special. Now, don't go over the top. If I once had a microfinance leader who would compliment me sometimes, and he would say that you were one of the 3 greatest figures in the history of the microfinance movement. Now, I'm proud of what I did, but I know that I'm not that. If you go too over the top, if you exaggerate too much, you kind of lose credibility as an affirmer. People just kind of tune you out, I think, for the most part. So exaggerate a little, do it often, do it whenever you feel it's justified, even partly justified, and you'll earn a lot of respect, a lot of appreciation for people feeling appreciated by you as the leader, that you're looking not only externally, but you're looking at internally what people are doing. Now, being accessible. Now, a lot of nonprofit leaders get very busy with their external responsibilities, aren't accessible. I said, if any employee in my organization, and at one point they were up to 300, wants my feedback, wants my decision, wants my input, I'm going to get back to them in 1 business day. And I occasionally didn't meet that standard, but most of the time I did, and people appreciated it. My other flaws as a leader, people tended to overlook them because the one thing they knew is that I would be accessible. And the other thing it made sure is that they would ask me for my decision or advice, as opposed to saying, oh, he'll never get back to us and we don't have time to even consult with him or get his decision. We're just going to make the decision on our own or make it without his input. And so by being timely, people will engage with you and they'll really appreciate. Because if you're not accessible to people, again, sometimes they'll just make decisions without your input or decision, or they'll just get passive and they'll say, well, I can't move forward on these things because the boss won't give me his time or her time. And then being approachable. Now, it's very important when people want your time, keep an open door, literally and figuratively. People feel okay to come in and give you bad news, tell you that something they're doing is not working, that they're going to need some time off to deal with a personal situation, maybe not at a good time. And you want to just train yourself to receive that information with equanimity, with empathy, and so that they feel good about having given you what might be difficult news for you and for them. And once they see that, then they're going to be more at ease doing that. So you want to have an open door, people feel comfortable coming to you, but it doesn't stop there. Go on the outreach to people. Make yourself accessible and approachable. For example, I used to host what I called CEO coffees. Strange for me since I'm a tea drinker, but where I would get together with 5 or 6 of my colleagues and just have an open session where they could talk about what they were happy with in the organization, what they're unhappy with. I would receive it non-defensively, take notes, and just try to use that input to be a better and more informed leader of the organization. I'd also sometimes just go into the cafeteria. We had a small cafeteria in Grameen Foundation in the final years. And I would just have lunch and anyone could come join me and talk to me if they wanted to. Now, sometimes no one did, But oftentimes people are like, gosh, I can, I'm not just going to have lunch and strike up a conversation with the CEO. And when you do that, again, when you're accessible and approachable and you approach those conversations that they initiate at your invitation because you put yourself out there in the group, they appreciate that. And they appreciate that contact. Sometimes it's encouraging, even inspirational, to be able to, especially as a very junior person, to have access to the leader, to have them share with you and you share with them your experience of the organization and just life in general. So as you go through your time as a leader, don't forget to affirm, to be accessible, and to be approachable. It will go a long way to making you an effective leader.